welcome to Citizen Survival Plan. Welcome back if you've been here before. In today's video, we are going to be discussing cheap night vision. Specifically, night vision under $2,000. If you would have asked me 6 months ago, a year ago, if you could get a PVS 14, a decent one that works for under $2,000, and somebody would ask, where do I find that? I would say, you don't. This is from Parish Optics, and he sent it out for me to test, for you to see, and today we're going to give it a full in-depth review. So this is the box it comes in. This is $1,700 total. It comes with a hard case. It comes with a mount, which is unbelievable. I had to buy one of these mounts for another unit that I had, and these can cost around $200. So for $1,776, you get a helmet mount, a PVS 14, a soft case, and the hard case it comes in. Let's move all this out of the way, and let's take a look at this. First, starting out just with build quality, I have absolutely no issues with the build quality or anything about it. It seems no different than any other PVS 14 that I own or have tested in the past. So good. It comes with onboard IR and a manual gain controller. One of the first things I noticed about the Parish Optics is it's very similar to my E model AGM in terms of size. This has a more compact lens system, just like my AGM E model. Just for reference, that's the Parish, and there is a regular PVS 14 without compact lenses. And let's give it a weight. Looks like it's going to come in just about 10.3 ounces, and AGM's E model's just slightly lighter. So what is this? This is a white phos, not green, so it comes in white phos. And interestingly enough, this is a Gen 2 Plus, and it is auto-gated, and I assure you it is auto-gating. I tested it with some bright lights and stuff, and it definitely does work. According to Parish Optics, these are built and assembled in China using CETC tubes. I guess that's similar to some other Chinese manufactured night vision tubes like NNVT. So the tube itself is white phos, Gen 2 Plus with auto gaining, 10,000 hours. And then when you jump up to a Gen 3 unit, you will get 15 or possibly 20,000 hours out of a Gen 3 for double the cost, basically. Let's just talk about the manual gain controller just for 1 second. It works really good. It goes the whole way down and it goes the whole way up to max brightness. So you get a lot of good control with that manual gain controller. I have nothing to complain about it with. Works good. It is IP67 rated, just like any other PVS 14. I actually made a point to ask that specifically to Parish Optics, and he confirmed it. And it's going to come in with a 1-year warranty. Now, a lot of people are going to be wondering about the lens quality on this. We are going to probably be rolling a ton of footage of this unit throughout the video, but I used it for an evening and had no issues. I have no complaints whatsoever about the lenses. They seem to be good quality. They're clear. I didn't get any blooming, really. A lot of people will complain about blooming issues with cheaper lenses, and obviously this is a cheaper unit, and I gotta say, I have no complaints. In fact, both of my AGMs have an issue with blooming, specifically with the Romeo 5 red dot that I was using that evening, just because it doesn't quite go low enough for night vision to see through it. And I have no explanation for this, but with this unit, I was actually able to do passive aiming, meaning I'm looking through the red dot with my night vision, and I got way less bloom on this than I did with my more expensive AGMs. So, interesting result. Another cool feature that the Parish Optics has, and I had to pay extra for this on my AGM E model, is a flip-up feature. As you can see, this unit is on right now with the day cap, and when I flip it up, and it flips up over your head, the unit turns off. It has to do with the switch in the proprietary mount that Parish Optics provides to you. If you try and hook another mount up to this, that auto flip up feature will not work. And when you flip the unit back down again, it comes back on when it flips back over your eye. This unit specifically and only can use an alkaline AA battery. And I have a little story to tell about that. During testing, I was just pulling this out around my house and using it and testing it, etc., etc. Well, one evening I went to just grab a lithium battery. I didn't even think anything of it. I thought literally nothing of it. I just put the lithium battery in it and the unit wouldn't work. It was kicking on for a second and just shutting right off. And I actually thought that the unit was dead, and I start emailing them saying that the unit died until it hit me like a ton of bricks that it was actually just that lithium battery that wasn't working in it. Okay, we've run into our first issue with this unit, and this is going to be probably something people are going to care about, but this will not take a lithium battery, and specifically will not take a lithium battery at a full charge. Let me explain. The parameters in the circuitry or on that tube is not allowing a fully charged lithium battery to be accepted and to run the tube. This one I've run down, I could tell because I have that black mark on it. So an Energizer lithium battery is going to run 1.78 volts, as you can see there. Let's take that. We're going to put it in this. You're going to see it's not going to allow it to... It'll, from what I've seen, it'll kick on for a second, then just shut right off. Kick it on. And it shuts off. Kick it on. And kicks right off. From what I can tell and what I've read, the parameters in that circuit board are just not allowing it to. A typical alkaline battery is going to be 1.5 volts as seen here. So just out of my own curiosity, I took this battery and just simply ran it just in a flashlight just to get the voltage down in it. That's what that black mark is for on this battery. And let's see what the voltage is, because I know it works because I already tested it. And 1.61 volts. So it was below that, but let's put it back in this. Here we go. And we'll kick it on, and it'll stay on. I have brought that voltage down just enough where the tube or circuit board in here is accepting that high of voltage. I had the daylight cap on, but this was important. I wanted to show this. I know it may seem I'm a little hung up on this thing not taking lithium batteries, but it is important. People put lithium batteries in their PVS-14s and other sensitive electronics to protect them. Lithium batteries don't leak, and in general, they're just higher quality. Now, here's the question that we have about this PVS-14, knowing that it doesn't take lithium batteries specifically because of the higher voltage. Are the parameters by mistake set where it won't take a battery running 1.7 or 1.8 volts? Or is that done on purpose because of the cheaper intensifier tube and or circuitry inside of this unit to protect it? Are the parameters set there to protect cheaper electronics from overheating or not being able to handle the higher voltage of a lithium battery? One thing to keep in mind is, again, it's $1,700. You may not care. You may just say, hey, that's not a problem for me. I will just run an alkaline battery in it and make sure that I remove it every time it's not in use. And that's a perfectly reasonable thing to say or accept with this unit at that price point. Okay, let's talk spec sheets. the Parish optics, they sent me a spec sheet. You will not get one in the box as far as I know. I talked to him, and because I'm doing a YouTube video on it, I believe he provided one to me after I got this. And these are the numbers. The FOM, the FOM, 1601. Resolution, 64. And the signal to noise ratio was 25.01. I just want to compare that just briefly with some of the other ones. This is my Gen 2 unit from AGM, which is going to be closer to this than the Gen 3. And the FOM is 1389. Resolution is 60. And signal to noise ratio is 23.15 on the AGM Gen 2. And I can tell you, this is cheaper than this. This has a higher spec sheet. And I can absolutely confirm, under dark conditions and having this thing out in the woods and using it, this performs better than my AGM. One more piece of perspective that I like to bring up is this is a Gen 3 unit with very, very similar specs to this Gen 2 Plus that's auto-gated. The FOM on my Gen 3 is 1683.2. I have a resolution of 64 and a signal to noise ratio of 26.3. So this spec sheet on my Gen 3 AGM is only slightly better, but I can confirm that this performs a lot better than the Parish optics. Now keep in mind, this is $4,200, $300. So another consideration to take in mind. This is very adequate for using in the dark, shooting, doing whatever you need to do. And I wouldn't feel outgunned if I owned this instead of either one of these. In fact, this is better than this. The only advantage this really has is as a better warranty, and it can take lithium batteries. So I love perspective. I love kind of just showing people, what you can get at what price point, and putting this up against these and those spec sheets is important. All right, let's wrap this video up. I'm going to start doing some final thoughts on this. I want to talk a little bit just in general about Chinese night vision, because that's how Parish Optics is obviously doing this. He's sourcing a Chinese manufacturer to make these optics for him. And I will say he did price it really good. So he must have sourced a couple different Chinese manufacturers. There's a handful of them over there. And you're going to find out when you go on Alibaba or buyitfromchina.com or any of these other sites, you're going to see extremely similar units to this. I actually spent the better part of a day trying to contact companies on Alibaba to make a unit exactly like this with the same intensifier tube and everything. And I can get the price pretty much the same. I have to forego like the hard case and stuff. And their quotes came back really, really similar. I actually had to ask Parish Optics if he was just buying these off Alibaba. He told me no. And I think that he probably is doing some extra sourcing for some of these parts. But there's probably a handful of these companies, like I said, over there. These shells, the body of the PVS-14s are probably just a blueprint that multiple Chinese companies are just pumping out. The intensifier tubes are the same. There's really two different Chinese companies over there, NNVT and CTEC, intensifier tube companies. All the blueprints are probably the same. There's probably multiple companies making them. In fact, I think they're all so similar over there that I even contacted a company called Lindu Optics or Lindu Night Vision. And I start asking them questions about if these units could take lithium batteries, and they confirmed that no, their units cannot take lithium batteries, which makes me think so many of these Chinese manufacturers just basically all making the same parts. Now, Parish Optics is claiming that he does a little bit more sourcing and that he watches quality control a little bit more. Things that I don't know about. I'm simply just reviewing the device, and it did test good. We enjoyed this unit, other than that lithium battery problem. It was definitely a good unit, and I do think Parish Optics does have a good price on these. Another thing I want to add is just how good Chinese night vision is actually getting. Before, if you would have told me to buy night vision from China or from Alibaba or something, I mean, I probably would have laughed. I put this up against my AGMs, and this unit came in cheaper than my Gen 2 AGM, and is actually beating it out as far as raw performance goes. Now, what I don't know is longevity, reliability, and durability. I just can't test that right now. I don't have the data. We only have these for a short period of time to test them, so that would be something to look out for in the future. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.